And more of us are coming to this area, this Buckeye, this, the West Valley. And as you know, the more of us that come, we may be the lower in number, but we're gonna be higher in the systems, in the education's gonna be, we're gonna be done wrong in all these systems.
Yeah.
Do
you know what the current approximate percentage of Black people in the West Valley is, or?
I don't. But I'm trying to get all these numbers together because what I'm finding, we're here. It's just like we're scattered out. There's not one central thing that we come to. This Black History Month, and I believe, Black History Month, Black History Day is every day. I don't wait till February to celebrate per se.
Absolutely.
But, they have the different events going on this month, and you will see all these people. I'm like, dang, where all these people?
Yeah.
But then next month, to have something, you might see a different group. But what I'd like to see is, so we're here at this house this month. This group is at this house next month. That third month, let's all come to one house, because collectively, we are there. We got the numbers.
Let's do it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like with this, with the organization.
Yeah.
When I met you at the breakfast.
Yes.
That's what we're doing, trying to build a community.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of pockets of Black people.
And I'm learning that around
there's
here.
Pockets.
Yeah.
And this is something that hopefully through African-American-Made, we can build a pipeline to people that are doing various things, and we all come together through that pipeline.
Right.
Just one way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people doing things in the valley, but they're all islands unto themselves.
Exactly. And I would imagine a lot of it is doing the same stuff.
There's a lot of duplication.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And there's no need to recreate the wheel, because it ain't nothing we're doing now that hadn't been done in the past.
Absolutely.
It may not be on a camera. It may be back in the day we're writing it all down.
Yes.
Even in the last, 10 years, the way technology has gone with cell phones and all that other stuff. So the wheel is not, or should not, try to be reinvented, because the blueprint is there. Mm-hmm. It just takes people to know knowledge, history, and be able to pick that blueprint up. Look at this. They did it back in the 1800s without any of the stuff that we had.
Absolutely.
When people were enslaved.
I think some of this has become more of a hindrance than it is.
Yep. Correct. 100%.
The social aspect seems to be more important than actually doing the work.
Doing the work, exactly. Because this year, I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say, because this year the national, what is it called? It was in Boston last year. Not party, but the national, God, I can't even think of the right word right now. But the national meeting is going to be in Las Vegas this year.
For the NAACP?
Correct.
Okay.
It was, like I said, it was in Boston last year. It's going to be out here. So this is the first time I can remember. I can't remember the last time it actually being in this region. Mm-hmm. So it's going to kind of be a big thing for us to show up and show out per se. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to the national convention, that's it. And, but once again, I'm not going to rub elbows with people. I'm so-and-so from the West Valley NAACP. Look, I'm going to, what are we doing across the nation? Mm-hmm. Sister so-and-so, you're from, Atlanta. Here's my card. What are you doing that's effective down there that you found effective? So-and-so from Chicago. What are you doing in Chicago that you deem is effective? This is what we're trying to do in the West Valley, in Phoenix, and all around. So let's exchange ideas, let's exchange numbers, email addresses. So when you face a situation, put it out there. This is how we handle this situation.
Yeah, compare notes and be a support system for people in other areas.
And that's the way it should be.
And I would have thought that was something that was already in place.
Well, it kind of is, because they have the different chairs education, criminal justice. They have the different meetings, and they call a national meeting, and they have that on Zoom and everything.
Okay.
And the last one they had was a couple months ago. I think they're doing some reorganization is going on. So I was reaching out to some of the people on there. This is my name and number. This is what I'm about. I see that you used to be this, that, and the other. Let's hook up. Let's hook up. Let's hook up. Mm-hmm. And trying to build, those networks within the organization. Yeah. So again, so we're not recreating the wheel, trying to reinvent the wheel, all of that stuff. And I think it's important because.
Now, what kind of support are you getting from the? What's your membership now?
I think we're up to 115.
And how many of them are actually on, at the ready, waiting for your call to be?
I'll say that's a real low number, and I'm not blaming them because we went through a lot of headache since when from when we first started the organization. So we're trying to build that rapport up, mm-hmm. and if you don't give somebody something to do, everybody's not going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is get people involved, give them something to do. And so a couple things that I'm looking at doing. We have these city council meetings, the whole areas that we have. I'm trying to get somebody at every city council meeting, mm-hmm. Just to go in there. I don't care if you sitting there knitting, you sitting there doing crossword puzzles.
You need to know what's going on.
Yeah, so you go there and you report back to us. This is what happened at Goodyear's council meeting the other day. It was nothing of importance or anything, but this is what they were talking about. So let's say if something happened big in Goodyear, okay, they were talking about this, okay, let's rally up the troops. The next meeting, we're gonna be there in numbers. Mm-hmm. Because when we start showing up in spaces that we aren't a part of, people start looking, okay, mm-hmm. I see that brother there. Who is that? Or that sister's there.
Absolutely.
And it starts waking people up.
Yeah.
And so
you have
start
to be active in the community.
And that's what it is.
In order to be taken seriously.
And that's what it is. And too often, we are not active. We do a lot of complaining. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of protesting, complaining when something happens, and they know it's going to only last a week or two, then we're going to go on, and they appease us mm-hmm. and all that stuff. But what I want to get, like I said, is people at these school board meetings, these city council meetings, and a lot of it is done on Zoom, so you can sit there at home and just take notes. And then, like I said, when we have our monthly meetings, come back and report, this is what they were talking about.
That's a good idea.
So that's one thing I want to do. And that gives people not the impression because they're actually doing it. This is something that I can feel good about that I'm actually doing. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm doing with what are you doing in the NAACP? Well, every Tuesday, on the second Tuesday of the month, I'm at this meeting, I'm taking notes, and I report back to the meeting, to the general membership meeting. That's what I'm doing. Do you want to do more? You know what? Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. I want to get more involved. And I'm going to bring my friend in to do this. Mm-hmm. Look, they're actually doing something in this branch, and President Farmer, he's fighting for this, that, and the other. I like what he's doing, so I want to bring, my kids to it and my friends. So what I end up every meeting with is, make sure you come back to our next meeting, grab a neighbor, grab a friend, bring them to our next meeting. Mm-hmm. You don't have to come in person, it's on Zoom. Come and lend your support, at least physically or, on Zoom or whatever, because I want to see people. You might hear something that might change your mind about the NAACP or about our branch and actually see that we're trying to do something positive for this community. And I tell them, don't wait till, you get hit in the head to come seeking help. Come on now, and what you're doing now may be able to stop somebody from getting hit in the head.
Absolutely.
And all that.
And the kids need to see it too.
Yes, they do.
A part of it
because
they're
the next ones. I truly believe in
activism
each one.
Should be mm-hmm. a part of your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you never know when you might need it.
That's true.
Be ready,
That's true, because imagine going to school now, man, with the environment that we're in. And I go back to politics where, you hear where good is not good. Bad is emphasized more than being good. And I'm talking about just, man, you see people in high positions and they just as crooked and dirty. And it's always been there, but now it just seems like it's out in the open. Where I don't care who you are.
They're not even trying to
hide it, not at all.
Because a lot of times there's not really a lot of repercussions.
Exactly, and that's the thing. But we get hit hard.
Of course.
We get hit hard.
It's happening across the country right now with a lot of notable people in politics that are getting hit left and right.
These sisters that are, district attorneys, states attorneys, depending on what region they are, they're getting hit hard.
Yeah.
And Fani Willis down in Georgia, she's prosecuting Trump now, but she made a big mistake. She made a big mistake.
Bigger than a mistake, but was kind of like,
it's nothing to do with the trial.
Mosley.
Yes, she did. What she did, she did something minimal that people doing all the time.
Well, yeah.
But because of who she
is,
I think I read the story. $5,000 she took out of her account and did this for $5,000.
That's political,
right? And that's what I'm saying. So in Chicago, what's her name? Fox, who's the state's attorney in Cook County.
Fox,
I forget her first name, but the same thing. So when we do something, it's emphasized much more than when they do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. So, but then it goes back to us as brothers. Are we protecting the sisters?
Well, I understand that, but at the end of the day, corruption is corruption.
Correct.
Making a mistake is making a mistake. Mm-hmm. And I say go back to crime, right?
Yep.
I've always said this. The system is stacked against you.
Yeah.
You're going to get the most time. They're out there waiting for you to do something. You're making it easy for them by doing it.
That's true.
Now, I'm not making a moral judgment about that. I'm making a logical judgment.
Correct.
Hey, look, you know that they can't wait to lock you up. And when they do, they're going to give you the most time. So why you want to go out and do and make it easy for them by letting you?
And that's going back to when I was a police officer.
Same thing with these politicians.
And I understand all of that.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was a police officer, police officers have a lot of discretion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of discretion. They don't have to arrest everybody.
Exactly.
And so I know you. Man, what you doing? You driving drunk. I'm not going to arrest you. You got anybody I can call? Yeah, call my wife, call so-and-so. Man, so-and-so is here on this corner. They shouldn't be driving. Come get them. I'm going to take the car keys and make sure, all this. We're going to pull the car off to the side of the road. Come take them home. Here's my card. Come see me the next day. I'll give you your car keys. You go get your car. That's how you do community policing. Everybody.
But that's how it's done in some communities.
But that's policing community. Community policing. But that's done in the communities where they allow you to do it. Now, if I do that to you, then somebody gonna say, why didn't you arrest him? Because I didn't want to. Yeah. Next time you pull him over, you better arrest him. No, I'm not gonna arrest him. Yeah. So, but that's what it is, come from knowing people.
Yeah, because I'm thinking little Johnny, non-black Johnny,
happens all the time.
He gets sent home because he, vandalized something or he stole something out of a store and he gets sent home.
Yep.
16-year-old Tyrone does it, and they got him on the ground in handcuffs, and they got the whole SWAT team out there because he just took a donut out of a, so it's totally different experience.
That's what I mean. It comes back. It's discretion.
Yeah.
And again, police officers have a lot of discretion, and I used to be of the mindset that I would, like my son. He was at the police department all the time because I pick him up from work and take him to the station until I got off, And that's when I was in the detective bureau. And it was a twofold thing. I had to pick him up because my wife, my job was more flexible. I had that flexibility and all of that. But I pick him up and I bring him to the station. And the other part of that was that I wanted all of them to know who he was. This is my son. You see him out there doing something, don't jack him up. He's my son. If you got to bring him to the station, give me a call. We're going to handle it. Mm-hmm. Don't mistreat my son or my family. Mm-hmm. So that was that fold. But they have that, they do that all the time. So like you said, little Billy done stole something out of the store. He's running from the police. They grab Billy. You're so-and-so's son, come here. Mm-hmm. They grab my son Malachi, they grab him. Bam, this, that, and the other.
Him up.
Yeah. So it was always that thing. So once again, that discretion comes into play. And so I used to be of the mindset that I wanted younger people to be introduced to the police. Don't be afraid to walk up to that police officer, hi, I'm so-and-so, or go to the police station, and meet them and all that stuff. I don't buy that anymore. Really? I don't buy it anymore because I've learned that it really is not a deterrent because it goes back to that old analogy, we all look alike.
Yeah.
You know, so my thing right now is avoid police, you know, interactions at all costs.
And that's a strong statement coming from a man who's retired.
I truly believe that.
Been on the inside and knows the in and outs.
I truly believe that.
Wow.
And I say that because, you know, again, you know, this police code and we take care of one another and all this other stuff. I got pulled over one day and I was on the drug unit. I had my girlfriend in the car and her friend. I was speeding down the highway because we were coming from the city. And I knew I was speeding. The officer pulled me over. And I told him, I said, I apologize, you know, I'm late for work and I know I was speeding. He said, late for work? I said, I'm a police officer, blah, 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 blah. He said, who do you work for? I said, I work for this department. I said, I'm on this undercover unit. I'm part of this task force, because he was asking me for my IDs. I said, my real ID is in the back, but I got my undercover stuff on. He said, let me see it. So I show him my badge from that task force. And we had a phony driver's license, you know, with a different, all the information was different on it. Mm-hmm. And I show him all this stuff. And he said, well, who do you work for? I said, I told you who I work for. You got that ID? I said, yeah, it's in the back. I'm going to get it. You know, go in the back of the car and get it. My driver's license, my badge from my home department, show him all that. You got registration on the car?
So he's continuing to ask you more stuff.
And this is going. I said, yes, sir. I get the driver's, you know, the information and registration, insurance. He said, you said you're going to work. I said, yeah. And so he said, you always take these people to work with you? I said, oh, okay. I said, look, man, I've given you everything I have. I don't have anything else to give you. Either you're going to write me a ticket or you're going to let me go. Which one is it going to be? He had all my stuff in his hand. I mean, he's studying it like it was counterfeit. And then he throws it in my lap. He said, get the F out of here. I said, hold on, man. I don't know who the hell you think you talking to. I said, you don't have anything on you outside of this car that I don't have inside of this car. If I get out this car, me and you going to be rolling around at the very least on this highway fighting one another. So what is it going to be? I said, you don't talk to me like that. And so I got pissed. I took off. Went to work and told him what happened. That one lieutenant that was over the unit at that time, he became chief. He was problematic anyway. And so he was always under the mindset that I was always looking for trouble. Mm-hmm. And so I got on the phone. I called that police department back. I said, this happened at this date and time. He said, okay, that would be Sergeant so-and-so that's over that, you know, that time frame or whatever the case may be. And I told him what happened. He said, well, how do you want to handle this? You want to make a formal complaint? I said, no. I said, I'm just letting you know, if your officers talk to another police officer like that, what are they doing to the general public? I said, because he was unprofessional and disrespectful. And I said, just leave it at that. So that's the kind of stuff that I used to get into because, you know, I didn't back down because I knew who I was. I knew my rights and everything. And I used to get into stuff like that all the time, man, mm-hmm. all the time. But like I said, the department would always come back at me because I know what they were saying. I was uppity. You know, you need to bow down to authority. Mm-hmm. No, their authority is no bigger than mine. So that's the kind of stuff I used to get into all the time because I didn't put my tail between my legs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nah, you know, you come at me, I'll come at you the same way you came at me. And so that's how my career was. Pretty much, like I said, when I started with that license plate, mm-hmm. you know, just us, they didn't understand it until I explained to them, oh man, you really big on justice. No, just us is getting arrested. That's what it is, you know.
So now, at you being in this position and you're mm-hmm. Head of the NAACP, and you're imploring people to not just be aware, but not interact, mm-hmm. not put yourself in a position where you have to deal with the police
Correct.
On any kind of level because of what your experience is.
Yep.
What do you want to see, or what would you like to see happen as the president of the NAACP in the next 3 to 5 years?
Excuse me.
What's your vision?
Well, right now, like I said, one of my main things is I want to get our membership up mm-hmm. because, again, I truly believe there's strength in numbers. And so the more people that we have that are members, the more we have more people that are involved in different things. Mm-hmm. You know, like meeting you. You know, you have this platform. So we might be able to use your platform to get this message out. So somebody else comes in as an attorney or an accountant or more police officers.
Gotcha.
So we got these different, so we can have forums. You teach people how to do what you're doing. This is what I do. This is how I make my living. This is my background. And so an attorney comes in. This is what I do. This is how I make it. So we're teaching and putting out there, especially to younger people, that you may not have seen where you can go, but look at this. This is how they did it, and it opened up some avenues. It might open up somebody's eyes and say, man, I never knew how to get to that point, but I see you made it. So can I piggyback off of you? Yeah, come on. So that, and like I said, the injustices that are happening around here, it's criminal justice, education, because this is something I found out, that in the juvenile justice system, there's a big push to take kids away from us. So let's say there's a single mom. She might have run out to the store and left her kids at home. And something happened where one of the kids was running down the street. The mom tells her, stay in the house till I get back. Then the police are called. The police, like I said, it goes back to that discretion. Well, I got to contact, what is it, the Department of, the Department of Children's Services, whatever they call them out here. And then, so there's a big push always to keep us in the system. And so I'm going to take the kids because you're not raising your kids right. So we're going to take the kids for 2 or 3 weeks, and you're going to have to go to court, and you're going to have to show that you're capable of raising your own kids. So then the judge might be part of that system where, well, I don't think you are. So we're taking your kids, and there's a big push out here, especially, that they're giving these kids, us, to the Mormon community. And so it's a push to keep us in the system and to take us away and have us raised by other people, because there's a monetary value. I mean, there's money into this.
Yes.
And so what I'm finding out is that these families are getting money from the state to take these kids, these foster kids, so to speak. And then the biggest, most worst part of it is, so let's say little Johnny may have, like I'm sitting here, if I'm bouncing up in the seat, I may be a little hyper because you ain't giving me anything to do. So, little Tyrone is hyper, so he needs medication. So you get him on medication, you get more money. So it's and then once they turn 18, you kick them out. Because
there's a whole bunch of hustles
built into all this stuff. It's knowledge.
Taking our kids and putting them in these systems because there's a lot of money to be made.
Exactly. And then with the profit prison system, especially in Arizona, they get money. The state pays these private corporations to come in and fill these beds up. And so they have these contracts with the state. If these beds aren't, let's say 70% filled, then the state has to pay. So it's all this money-making stuff. And again, it comes from
monetizing our freedom.
The 13th Amendment,
absolutely.
goes back to that thing. Yeah, there's a clause in the 13th Amendment. We can't do this unless, and all that stuff. So if you hanging out on the corner and we can say that you're a vagrant, you're homeless or, unhoused or anything, we get you in the system. So at 18, they kick these kids out. What is this kid gonna do? Because obviously they don't have the family, or they done lost touch with the family, or they may legitimately be in the foster care system and in that house, but they get kicked out because they're 18 and technically an adult. So what is that kid gonna do now? Especially if you haven't learned anything, any social skills, any
way to support yourself.
Right. So you out on the street. So what's next? You walking up and down the street. Police see you. Come here. Who are you? I'm so and so. You walking up and down the street. What are you doing? You trying to break into a house? No, I'm not.
And misdemeanors turn into a felony eventually.
Next thing you know, clink, you locked up. Absolutely. And so, fighting all this stuff like that, even in education, we get kicked out of school at a higher number than anybody else. And all of this stuff. And so, and that's what I say. If we as a people, and you call yourself conscious, and you can't find something to fight for, something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
Something wrong, because you don't have to watch the news. You can talk to cousin so-and-so. You can talk to your neighbor. And they tell you a story. If it doesn't fire you up, something is wrong, man.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. Because I truly believe each one teach one. You got to pull back, look back, and, Sankofa, that whole thing with it, You looking back to the past to get to the future, because you got to know your past and move forward. And so that's what keeps me fueled.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning, looking at this, looking at that. And there are days when I get weary, and all that stuff. But
now you have to, with all these concerns and all these things that we're faced with all the time, and you as a leader of the organization, do you have to channel that into, say, what's more pressing? Or, because there would be a challenge hitting all these things on all fronts, right? So
Correct.
you kind of have to see where you at and see what you have to what you want to address, some of the more pressing issues or what have you, and they're all pressing,
Right.
because we're all dealing with these things.
Correct.
And by you getting these numbers up, you have more people that are able to assist you.
Exactly.
with,
Exactly.
At least having your ear down to the ground, right?
Exactly.
So if somebody wants to become a part of the organization, how can they reach you? What do they need to do in order to get in contact with you, or who do they need to call?
Because we have social media presence, we have a website, and I'm always giving my number out. Give me a call, and all it is a process. I think it's, remember correctly, $30 to become a member, $30 a year, and then they have that lifetime membership and all that stuff. But $30 to some may be a lot, to others it may not be. But I don't want to pay my money to something that's not benefiting me or not doing anything to help me in whatever help process that I need. Because a lot of, I can't say a lot, some of the requests for help that we get is financial. I don't have the money to pay my rent this month. What can you do? I don't like to turn anybody away, so it comes with reaching out to other organizations like the Urban League, or so-and-so has an organization where they can put somebody, give them the money to help them out financially for that hardship that they're facing at that time. So that's where it goes back to there are too many organizations out here for us to be in the situation that we are in. And I think a lot of it goes back to not knowing that there are other ones out there, and I'll put that as on the small scale. But I think a lot of it goes back to, this is my organization, this is what we're doing. I don't want to partner with anybody else because I don't want you to steal my thunder. But in the meantime, we're suffering.
Yeah, in the meantime,
suffering.
the people that could use the services
Exactly.
are suffering.
Exactly.
They can benefit from, there are just multiple things that different organizations can help with, that another organization is not equipped to do.
Exactly.
So,
and that's what I'm saying, because like you said earlier, with the NAACP being the oldest organization of its kind like this, but then like you said, you have other ones out there, and then you have people who started their own activist community and all of that stuff. But I think that comes into the trust factor also, because there's another group that I met, Arizona Mass Liberation, and somebody had told, because I was looking for some help with something, and this attorney I had met, she said, check out them. So I said, here's the email address. And so I emailed my number. Finally, the sister called me back. And so we were talking, and I'm listening to what they believe in. And she said, I'm glad you called, because I've been trying to get an in with the NAACP. And I said, well, what stopped you? She said, I had heard that on the executive board, there's a police officer or somebody that used to be a police officer. I said, well, that's me. And I said, well, what's the hesitation? Because she said, like I said, with the police, they don't believe in policing and all that stuff. And I said, well, let me tell you who I am. So by the time I told her who I was, and over time we built this, where I'm not trying to, put any veils over anyone's eyes. I was a police officer. I've done that. This is where I am now. And pretty much I'm fighting against the system. that I was in, for those 23 years, almost 30 years now, with some other stuff that I've done. And so I'm trying to build allegiances with anybody that I can. And what I tell people, even within our organization, our branch, we don't all have to think alike or like one another, but we should have that main focus is that we're in this community to help people. And I say, none of us are going home sleeping with one another. We have our houses, our spouses, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. And so that sole purpose should be us coming together to fight what we deem is important to fight for. We can't tackle every issue, but so if this attorney is their forte is housing, so we got a whole unhoused community. So you handle this, so you come in it, whatever your expertise is, you handle that. Yeah. And we come together as a whole. What's going on with this? What's going on with that? Okay, this month we're gonna focus on this, because that seems to be rising right now. So that's what I want to do. I want to, and again, I want to work with anybody, any organization, anybody, because again, there's strength in numbers, and we are brothers and sisters,
Definitely. Well, Mr. Lanelle, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
My pleasure.
And we definitely want to have to do this again because I feel there's so much more that we can cover.
Oh, most definitely.
The work you're doing is amazing. Your background, your knowledge, it'll all be a benefit to what you're trying to do with this chapter. And I wish you as much success as you can possibly muster.
Yeah, and I need it too, because one thing we did back in December, because I belong to the NAACP, the sheriff who just resigned, he had created this African-American Advisory Board. I'm on that. So we just got a new sheriff the other day. So we're trying to see if he's going to keep this thing going. And then another group that I belong to is called NAACP, National African-American Gun Association. That's an organization that was started in 2015 by this brother. He's an attorney. And he started it. And so there were a bunch of local chapters. And the purpose of that was because the NRA rather, it doesn't take care of us. The NRA is what they are. And case in point, when Philando Castile was killed back in, was that 2015, 16, whatever, he was murdered by that police officer. The NRA didn't say anything. That brother was legally carrying his gun. Right. He had all the proper paperwork, all that stuff. Police officer shot and killed him because he was scared of that black brother. The NRA didn't say anything. Yeah. And there's been other instances like that have happened too, where the NRA didn't step up and say anything. Right. And so NAACP is to counter the NRA. And so I started a business. I'm a certified firearms trainer. So I just recently started that. And my sole purpose, again, not sole purpose, I'd like to bring all these organizations together. So through through NAACP and then NAACP, back in December, we had an event. And the purpose of that event was to get us more familiar and introduced to firearms. Because what I don't want to happen, especially with these brothers and sisters, younger ones, in Arizona, you can carry a gun. Just because you carry it don't mean you know what you're doing. And so the introduction, the safety, the rules, the regulations, all of this stuff come in play. So again, it's that knowledge, getting that knowledge out there through. So it's a lot of things I'm trying to bring to the NAACP. Some of them I look at as untraditional, like with the gun culture and all that stuff, but it's stuff that affects us. Yeah, you got a gun, police pull you over. Do you know what to do and what to say? Yeah. And all that stuff. So I'm trying to save souls and keep people out of jail and all this stuff and all that.
You sound like you got a lot going on.
It is.
But we're going to definitely come back and talk about some of these things again because there's just a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it is.
And I think you're doing God's work, man. Thank you so much.
Man.
Thank you.
I'm trying.
Anything that I can do to help you,
yes, sir.
Just tell me what to do and I'll roll my
well, you doing
up.
it.
Yeah,
you doing it. You doing it.
And I want to help you get more awareness on the chapter And so let's do this again.
Oh, most definitely. Most
Okay.
definitely. One thing I'll say is hold me accountable. If I fall off the tracks, fall off the rails, let me know. Help me get back up, because I'm not going to ever ask anybody to do anything that I won't do.
Absolutely.
So hold me accountable. I'm not a politician. I'm not trying to get any favor with anybody. And so hold me accountable. That's it.
Well, I think you're going to be doing a tremendous job, and you've already started on that track.
I'm trying every day.
We're going to help you get those numbers up.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
All right.